So, hello everyone, welcome to our work session. Since that Oda is in Japan and I'll take a vacation, enjoy his life. So I'm in the hot seat, and look outside, it's 95, 96 degrees, I'm sweating and he's enjoying, So, old business now and the new business. Let's review and July 15th, the meeting.
All right, short one so far, but we'll be added to it. In terms of everything's set, in terms of public hearing, we don't have anything scheduled. We did complete the transmittal of the zoning ordinance amendment to Allegheny County Economic Development, which is the final step. Our reporter got that a little bit wrong in terms of no further review, that's just for their final reference. And in terms of other items, we have been working with Deerfield Estates. Once again, implementing our process of following up with developers coming on to the end of their completion period under their development agreements. So Kathy and I have been talking with them for some time now. We thought maybe they'd be done with phase one, but they were not. So they asked for extensions for both phase one and phase 2A. You'll recall, we addressed phase 2B earlier, and it was not to be. That's on a different track, of course. So they have increased the amount of their financial security due to the lapse of time and have asked for an extension for another year. Continue working on the requirement.
Okay, and if I could ask.
Yes.
Just to educate myself, because I've had some questions from residents. How does the borough typically address time constraints for development? And if they go over the time constraints, is there any enforcement or not? And how do you address that with residents? Because I have.
Well, yes, I mean, under our development agreements, when they sign after there's a final vote, preliminary and final and development plans, they post a financial security to cover the amount of their necessary improvements, and they are given essentially 2 years, a 2-year time period.
2 years.
That's the initial time period. Nobody can ever get anything done in 2 years, and that's regardless of if it's a 400 unit development or a one building like Black Oak. So yeah, in terms of keeping up with them, the borough is inspecting. That's why we're doing the bond rule, the financial security releases as they go through the process. And then if they need more time, that's when we reach out to them in time and say, are you going to be done by the end of this completion period? If not, you're going to need to increase the amount of your financial security by 10% so that we're covered, because that construction cost is.
And again, I'm educating myself.
Sure.
With questions. Is it a time from when they sell the lot or when they construct the lot? Or is there like a legal terminology that I'm not familiar with? Because I'm told that they were supposed to sell them within a certain time period. But in my understanding, selling is different than actually constructing.
Yes, I mean, Tim, knows the ins and outs, but the developer who this, agreement is with, is responsible for putting in the public infrastructure, the streets and everything else, and developing, the lots that are then sold to builders, or homeowners. And at that point, it becomes a building permit issue. There are other time periods on a building permit, as we know from other experiences, but that's a different process. That's between the builder, homeowner, and the borough. The developer is still in charge of the site, in general, that the roads have not been handed over to the borough. We do snow removal for a fee, during that time period, but generally, you know, they do present a construction schedule at the beginning, they do bond, put up the financial security for the work to be done and completed, and we stay after them. But generally, we are not holding them to, you know, you have to do this work in this period or for anything else. They're on their own schedule. We don't dictate means and methods. We do have some limitations on when paving can be done. The asphalt plants aren't open, things of that nature, but developments can stretch out a long time.
No, I'm
Yeah.
learning, I'm just asking questions,
Yep.
so I appreciate, your information, Melissa, thank you.
And this process, as we say, I mean, previously, you know, the borough wasn't increasing the amount of financial security, so we had 20-year programs that were still bonded with the amount from 20 years ago as the amount went down, and we have a 10% retainage that we hold, you know, over the developer.
13.
So, yes, so at the end of this process, if they told us we're ready for final inspection, that's when the borough engineer goes out, checks everything, tells them to fix a couple things. Then they go into the acceptance process, and then they do a maintenance agreement for 18 months at 15% of the total cost of those improvements that the borough holds to make sure that they don't fail, that the roads don't disintegrate immediately, things like that.
That's the retainage?
No, that's the maintenance,
Okay.
yeah, maintenance bond.
Okay.
Retainage is returned to them when we start the acceptance process, when the acceptance ordinance goes through the final. We hold it. We haven't done one in a while. Let's say. Yes, sir. So that's what's going on with Deerfield Estates in terms of other things. There is one addition to the agenda from the packet on Friday regarding a notice of retirement. Congratulations, Joe. Thanks for it. Do we have an amount yet for multimodal grant?
Not yet. I'll have two more things added for next month or for the next meeting as well. One being the Allegheny County Gaming Economic Development Tourism Grant that'll be opening in mid-July. The window's real small, so we only have one spot to get a resolution in. Which my intention is to focus solely on the crosswalk on Rochester Road between Old Orchard and Franklintown. They like to give out around $100,000. That'll be perfect for this. And then we were hiring another public works employee to fill our vacancy. So we'll have the acceptance and hopefully.
Are we hiring two now?
Yeah.
Well, one resigned and one retired.
Right.
And so we already found a laborer, and then now we're going through the process of interviewing for mechanics. Or, yeah, for mechanics.
So any questions? Okay, let's move to and report from the engineering for this.
You have my written report. Happy to answer any questions. Not really executive, well, talk about Oak Leaf Lane, or do you have anything back from the Hintermeyers?
Not yet, never heard anything from them, but I mean, our major problem is time, so. Well, that's what we talked about, yeah.
So you're just asking for Hintermeyers to sign off on these things?
Yeah, we had set it up that way just because there need to be, well, the trees could fall into their driveway, you know, it was actually helpful for that, but our focus has been on the HOA for the last couple of months, and we got the signature. We went, oh, we haven't heard from the Hintermeyers for a while, so somebody had given us the contact information some time ago, so we followed up. Yeah,
Does Jack usually just knock on the door? And say,
yeah, sometimes.
I had an email, so I started there.
First things first.
Just dinner time knock on the door.
Show up with anything.
I've
done that.
Works, it works.
Yeah.
People where they are. I'd also included a report requested, the mayor and Ube had asked us, we had these questions about conflicts of interests under the Ethics Act, an abstention and the memo that's filed that Brian has done a couple of times, and then the recusal issue when somebody's excused from any discussions going through.
And I appreciate that because I think I did bring this up,
Yes.
because I think there's a potential misunderstanding or a need for understanding. When the words recusal, excusal, and abstaining. And so I think those are three terms, legal terms.
Okay.
That those of us in the legal world know that abstain, excuse, recuse. And I'm only 6 months into this, but I am not sure that it has been consistently been controlled with when it's abstain, recuse, excuse in different scenarios. So that's why I asked for this refresher.
Right.
For the council and for those that are in this room. So that was on me.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So, let me hold on, let me look at my notes here. Talking about when someone is, when someone votes and they're actually conflicted out. The
Yes.
two cases, actually pulled the cases, but
Yeah.
I didn't read them, so.
At least they're real, they weren't hallucinating.
Yeah, it's the difference between being involved and discussion versus
Yes.
voting.
Well, that I think I understand.
Okay.
What I do not understand, and maybe you can help me on this, is when someone votes, is present and votes, but is conflicted out, that vote becomes void and their presence does not count toward quorum. But if someone is present and is conflicted out and does not vote,
Right.
their vote doesn't count, obviously, because they didn't vote. And their presence does count toward quorum.
Right.
So is that really that narrow of an exception if you vote? Or that narrow of a distinction, if you vote, but you are conflicted out, your vote is void and you didn't count for quorum.
I believe, yeah, yes, I mean, it is sort of a double, almost a triple penalty if you are. Actually, quadruple, because if you vote when you have a clear conflict of interest, and then there's a challenge, there's criminal penalties, potentially one route, and ethics, violation. So those cases were usually the ethics, commission getting a complaint from a citizen saying, this item was up for a vote. I know, Township Supervisor X owns this business that they voted on. What do we do? They investigate. Yes, the DA can get involved because it's egregious or something on those lines. But in terms of what the Ethics Commission investigates, they come in, they pull everything, they look at everybody's statement of financial interest, they do an audit, they investigate it, and they can, issue a monetary fine and say, look, you cost the borough X amount of money, so you need to pay it. And if there's something happened that the vote was skewed or otherwise, that they can essentially undo the vote. Similar to the actions under the Sunshine Act, if there's an action taken outside of a public meeting or otherwise, and it's challenged, action itself can be voided as it was done.
Okay, that actually makes more sense. I was not thinking in terms of going through all that process. I was thinking in the moment, us kind of curing it. But I guess it is more kind of punitive and making sure that.
Doesn't happen in the first place.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand that
The
distinction.
core
Thank you.
piece that was interesting that, is that to create, is there policy behind it to like encourage council to be sure that doesn't happen way before it happens?
Maybe,
No,
but there's also, and it's mostly for, 3-member boards of township supervisors, or the 2,000 in Pennsylvania are mostly of that. So there's a rule of necessity in that conflict of interest provisions for voting conflicts that, if somebody's not there, it's 2 members, they can't take action. If it's a 1-1 vote or a 1 abstention, there's that process where they can announce the conflict, and I went through a public process and everything else, and deal with it that way. But by and large, and it kind of came through, that the Ethics Act and that sort of scenario of voting on something where you have a direct pecuniary interest or a member of your family or something like that, is really what is focused on in terms of that process. But other considerations, the overall Ethics Act, the overall oath of office and everything else to remove bias or undue influence and everything else like that, go into the other issues of recusal or being removed from discussion. And the other consideration there, as we've talked about, it's looking at this agenda, you can see, okay, but that's my company, I can't vote on that or anything else along those lines. But we still take official actions in the deliberation back here, even though it's not a vote. It's the formation of policy, it's the recommendations that come through it, and everything else. If you have a conflict of interest because you're saying, we should do X, because it's going to help me, my business, even if it's not an actual motion that's on the agenda, that's where the concerns come in. And the other layer is when we're dealing with applications, when we're, either as a prosecutor or as the adjudicatory body, if we've got, issues when, there's any of you, if you get a notice from, Tim, that your neighbor is applying for a variance, you have an interest, you were personal there, that's not.
Please,
the
that's never
benefits.
happened to me.
No. Those types of things, and we do have, we had this issue years ago over Carriage Lane, and involved, I saw a couple heads flip up, we had council members who ran for council because of what was going on with zoning cases that they were involved in. And their first meeting, we had to get, they didn't believe me, because the vote didn't believe Ira. We got third-party independent, counsel to do a memo and say, no, they can't sit in executive sessions in a case that they're on the other side of the field. They have to be excused. And we had to go that route because, coming back to the ethics commission, they do have a robust advisory opinion process where, because they know this is esoteric and they, you give them all the facts, they will explain to you what you need to do in terms of discussions or an actual vote before any of it happens. They won't do it after the fact. And Brian has done that a
With the
couple
chief
times.
counsel.
That's a little different. I mean, that's a little less formal. I don't know how you know her, but there are other ones where you submit and they take not a ton of time, like 14 days or something, but they'll give you a detailed memo saying, this is the scenario, these are the facts, this is our advice. If you follow this, you can't be prosecuted for an Ethics Act violation. So everything from interpreting family relationships, is that a family? Is this a de minimis impact? Does it have an impact of the entire class of citizens? What should I do with this? And they'll give guidance. That becomes a public record as well. You can search the e-library. It's where they also publish their adjudications. They have an issue. One more point I wanted to make about that, I forget.
Well, I will say I appreciate the information that you provided at my request. Because my observation in the last couple months is that this perhaps being inconsistently applied. So I wanted to address that so that we can apply it as it should be. And that's why I brought it to your attention.
I have another question for you, not about this.
Oh.
Oh,
The 1521 King John Drive, Bruce Jackson is going to sheriff's sale?
Yes.
Well, that's great news.
Well, yes.
Wait, that's not great news?
I know.
We'll see. I mean,
Okay.
I haven't talked to Jen Surs, who's with the school district solicitor. We had understood at some point, back when it became an issue, they were pushing forward and going to do it. They may have an interested purchaser. I don't know if anybody's been in to say they'll come in. Essentially, that's an agreement between the school district and an interested purchaser. It says, if you start this process, I'll guarantee my minimum bid is going to be X and pay for that. So we shall see. We do have a number of municipal claims that are unfortunately below the tax claims a bit.
There's a massive, which is sci-fi and pausing it, but I just hear what you said.
Yeah, so the school district, forced the issue, got an order to take it to sheriff's sale, but nobody came forward to pay school district's taxes and fees. So when we got the notice, we submitted the municipal claim information just to make sure it's there, it's on the docket, they'll find it, but we just want to make sure. I don't know if we'll get it all. And of course, we're still taking care of it. We had done some work recently and have those invoices ready, but municipal claim, if you wait 30 days before you can file it. So we've got a docket. It's supposed to be, I think, sometime next week, July 15th. It stands out in my mind. It could be that the sale is postponed or moved up, but we're gonna try and get it filed. They're gonna say we're too late or otherwise. He's putting it on record.
So if it's sheriff's sale, it's a public sale, right? You can
Yes.
have any number of bidders,
Yes.
and they usually have bidders on the telephone with these, don't they?
I don't know, these days, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
Okay.
probably do it by teams now and just.
yeah, I hear you. Okay, got it. Listen.
That's all I have, thank you.
I have my report, happy to answer any questions.
How we doing compared to last year, Reed? So we've organized everything.
We'll discuss that in 2 weeks.
That's good.
Well, we did, are depositing, moving $2.2 million from our real estate account tomorrow to Karen funds. Money's coming. You have my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions on it. Have anything to say up to.
I have a couple questions before. First of all, the 1904 Colonial Drive mailbox, is that knocked down during snow removal? Is that why we put it back up?
Yes, that was knocked down in during snow removal. What happened is, they, I guess, went back to the homeowners and homeowners association said that they wanted the certified put back up there, so it's kind of a wait and see and until they finally got the right mailbox for it.
Gotcha.
So it just took some time to get it, so.
Okay, I noticed, you all patched a few places on Reach, thank you. Couple of bad spots there. And then on the community garden, you guys put in a handicap accessible. ramp.
Yeah, it was out there. It was, yeah, we put in a roadway, millings. We went back in and dug it out, put some millings down there, rolled it in, compacted it in. It was for, there, this was a handicap. Somebody was going back to the garden there,
Okay.
and it was to help out so they can at least get back in there without having any struggles. They can get across the grass either. But there was a couple good wet spots in there. It kind of stiff the up.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
All that I have is an update to my report. You received previously, we did get an application submitted by Franklin in yesterday. So, they're on the docket for July's, Senate or, planning commission meeting. You've got time.
Yes, and I thank you, Tim and Zach and I met yesterday, after the application came in, and I appreciate, the attention to this matter. And I'm hopeful that we can work together to get this done and get them real. So, thank you.
But don't know the extent of it. We had talked before that the 21st.
Well,
Okay, if they,
Tomorrow is gonna be the deadline for the planning commission, so, so they're in plenty of time. The planning commission is gonna be on the 21st, so they're good. For planning commission.
so we're missing, yeah.
Wait, so
Council meeting
sorry.
is gonna be early.
I'm sorry, can you tell me those dates?
The 21st is the planning commission meeting. Tomorrow's the deadline for the,
So they're on time.
they're better than on time.
And I have expressed to them, the owners, to just, be in contact with the borough, in whatever they need to make sure that if they're missing something, they know what they're missing. And be in
I was on
communication.
with their engineer today, so.
Hey, yes,
Yeah.
so it's, let's just keep in contact, is what I'm communicating with them. So I thank you for that.
You have my report. I don't have anything additional. Happy to answer any questions.
Good job with the festival and.
Little fight, but little weather fight, but yeah, overall, overall. Overall it is.
Coach Jason has both because of.
Attendance was down a bit. It was normal for
Because
that
of the-
early crowd. But usually that, 6 o'clock is generally when we get like the families with older kids who are gonna stay for the fireworks. Because that's when the heavier rains were coming through. It delayed them coming in for that like 6 to 8 hour. And then fireworks were as full as we ever are. So they delayed because it cleared up 8 o'clock. Stopped everything at 8 o'clock. So yes, that 6 to 8 crowd was down, but for obvious reasons. But still, all stage performances went on. We still had our food trucks, we still had our face painting, air balloons and everything still went as normal. It was just the rides themselves was the thing that got a little messed up timing wise, because we can't have things going in that hard of a rain.
Yeah, I am a report. The other thing I would mention is the scholarship outing is this month, the end of the month. I didn't get a chance to see Donna this week. I know when I spoke with her last week, we are up from previous years on the amount of golfers. We're getting close to our goal. We still obviously need to push for the last 10 or so foursomes would really help. And then just the other thing is this baskets for our silent auction. Businesses or somebody that can donate, because if not, we purchase them and obviously it takes off the top of the profit. We don't have, last year I think we had 13 baskets. I think at the moment we only have 3, 4. So we're a little down on that. So
You can put your own together. Last year I put the other together. Exactly.
I did one, yeah.
yeah, maybe the basket could be anything. That doesn't have to be golf related. It could be, I know Donna put down she put together a pet one last year. It could be anything, a movie, movie package, but yeah, the donations of the baskets would really help.
Wet go one was a big one.
Yeah.
At least mine. You got hooked on it.
Or whiskey,
So
I said whiskey.
that's what I got.
Thank you.
Wait 1 second, I have more questions for you. For Silver Hill, the minimum age requirements, is that something that's common? in golf
It's
courses?
becoming, well,
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, usually we say it's, a playing age.
Yeah.
So like Gregor, who brings his group on weekends, he has them. 7 is usually the age, some are 6. But I have had parents that obviously into golf and they have maybe their 5-year-old that's actually hitting the ball and things. I also have people who bring their 5-year-old that's running all over the course. We had a gentleman, apparently they make anything, that it was a car seat that straps into the passenger of the golf cart, and he strapped the baby in and he golfed. The catcher didn't catch it. Obviously the baby's strapped in, but our fear is the air and ball. It's a tight course. So at some point, do we, what is a minimum age? I hate to turn people away, but there's a safety factor. If you're on 4 and someone's hitting 6 and even adults get hit, but a child's not going to see the ball coming.
I got the one.
So there's a lot, and that's, we have had, not necessarily the child thing, but if, a gentleman will come with his girlfriend or his wife, or she doesn't play golf, but we make her pay Because it's a liability course, you just can't be on the course to be on the course, you have to pay to be there for liability reasons, so. You know, it's just becoming, you know, it's coming up more, because we had, you know, a huge amount of juniors that signed up this year. I mean, you know, I probably had 60 juniors this year with junior passes. I think parents started talking for $400, they could just, you know, now that also increased some issues with behavior recently too, on the course while they're playing. Most of them are good, and respectful, there's obviously always some, but the minimum age become, because, you know, parents, you know, a dad or even a mom, but usually it's the dad, he's stuck babysitting for the day, but he wants to golf. So, and we have turned him away. Yeah, do we actually put a minimum age and say, sorry?
Did you say you can't babysit your own kids?
That's right.
Thank you. I didn't want to interrupt you. At this point.
Right.
Sorry, off the topic.
No,
You know.
lot of things.
Well, that you can babysit your children, you cannot babysit your own children.
Babysit anything.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, and then also, you mentioned the grandma a couple of years ago, we had one, she brought her two with her. They were running around, while she was teeing off on number 2, the one was playing around on the golf cart, hit the brake pedal and it rolled down in a tree. You know, so luckily nobody was hurt and she was a regular, you know. So that has happened. Because obviously, you know, we put it as you have to be 18 to drive the car. Kind of what we, you know, I know some golfers go as young as 16, but we just say 18 just for the liabilities of it. But that also comes up with that same issue, if you know, your child's with you and they're not really paying attention to the game. So, you know, didn't know how to really address, put an actual minimum age or, you know, playing age. They have to be, you know, playing, not just running around the cart while you're hitting the ball.
Yeah.
So, but it's, you know, being it's publicly, you know, owned, so, you know, how do you too restrictive, but I think there needs to be some kind of restriction at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing with, you know, within the dress code. You know, it says proper dress, but what's proper dress? And, you know, so, you know, you're obviously, you know, some clubs are, you know, collars and, you know, no cargo shorts, you don't do that, but T-shirts are allowed, but nothing vulgar, has to have sleeves, you can't come with cutoffs, kind of what, you know, our follows, but so you tighten that up, and now it's, you know, now this, you know, younger child issue is coming up more and more. And
More of a liability.
yeah, because now it's a judgment of the cashier, and obviously everyone's judgments.
Well, and it also becomes in the cashier's responsibility to enforce it.
Yes. Yes, because during the day we're there, but in the evenings, you know, I have a cashier and a ring. So there's always two, so, you know, they have to enforce. Obviously, some people who turn them away aren't happy.
Yeah.
So if we actually had a policy of an age, that helps a little bit. I think, you know. I
So-
think strict.
How about the other golf course, like in Cranberry and or some other township, do they have like a?
I don't know, I'll have to.
The price dictates a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're paying $50, $60, $100 to play.
Well, you're not gonna complain about how much taller, sure.
Well, I just mean, you're
You're
not.
not gonna bring a
kids.
6-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're municipal, of course, the municipal pricing will allow us to take advantage of them. And so they don't present the creative avenues that
Yes.
is appealing.
So Max, I know the answer, this is a golf cart or motor vehicle for purposes of financial responsibility.
The Political Subdivision Court Claims Act, probably not, because it's not on the road and you can just had. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, you know, when I'm
road.
so I'm privately running my little golf cart, and does my insurance follow me for purposes of slamming into somebody else's golf cart or?
I'll have to ask co-counsel.
Okay, for next time.
Like in the case of the one that, in the part of the tree that, you know, she blames the brakes, which there was nothing wrong, we know what happened, but can't, you know, but we've had, you know, some people that, for whatever reason, ran over the bench. And they did damage to the cart, and, you know, they apologized that they did it, and then they paid the cost of.
So it doesn't matter.
We really couldn't enforce it, but we told, hey, here's your damage, here's the cost.
Subrogation.
Yeah.
So we kind of give them the bill and hope that they're responsible. But we really haven't had to enforce. I don't know if we can.
We're on a walking detour in golf carts.
Same thing with the windshields and when, back when it was in the parking lot, if the fall breaks it, we have a sign up, you're parking at your own risk, so. Where the homeowners that live on the property, because we're a nuisance to them, we've had it a few times where we cover the homeowners deductible, be friendly neighbors. So,
And there are places that have small claims, procedures and resolutions and just did one for Alcoasand. Authorizes a signed release. It's under a certain threshold that we don't report to our insurance.
Oh, the self-insured retention, 5,000 or something.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you
Whatever you
set it
select,
at, yeah, just,
that means if the claim goes over the self-insured retention, now you report it. to insurance.
yes. So you just sort of set up,
But you may still have to pay that, the 5 or the 10 is part of the insurance company's processing of the claim. Yeah.
well, I mean, just for small claims.
Yeah.
For a broken.
Yeah.
Should or something like that.
Yeah.
You could do, but
the liability get back to the children and, another goal for instant child, like. Who's liable, of course liable.
Well, you also got the.
probably, I mean, like if you either had a rule and weren't enforcing it, kids running around there that shouldn't be, some plaintiff's attorney's gonna make an argument that we're involved, I think we do that. Political subdivision for conduct community for operations. I don't know that, what exception of all.
Worry about that.
I could look at, other, I don't know what Mount Lebanon or something, or see if they have any kind of policies or not. See if anybody else is having that same.
It's on labor law too, put them in the bag for them, can't we start cleaning clothes? I'll keep busy. 4 hours.
I brought mine, I've been working mine to be my cabin.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Do a copy of our written report. No update to great significance for a handful of items if, Zach said.
Zach, I'm sorry, Sean, can you speak up?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Do a copy of our written report.
Quit shouting.
No significant updates since we published this, working on a few things with Zach and staff, but happy to answer questions if there are any.
You have my report and nothing additional. More than happy to answer any questions.
2 kind of enforcement areas I saw in that last report that you guys kind of found, right? But-
Yeah, vacations, we got offset. I actually have another one, but it wasn't ready for this
Yeah.
report, so I'll
Yeah.
just add it for next time.
What's going on with the speeding all of a sudden? We
Yeah.
usually get low enforcement.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a shock. There's only, on the one particular road, there's only one house on that stretch, and all the speeding is, as you can guess, morning or evening. But yeah, you come off that little hill and you got a good clean straightaway, so.
For anybody for using their cell phone, holding their hands,
No, we have not had any of that, enforcement.
stuck behind the guy coming up here, but he pulled off to the
Oh.
hockey place.
Okay,
Oh, I have to touch.
were you gonna call them in?
I was, that was me.
You're gonna pick up
I
your,
didn't know I
pick up
was
your phone and call?
That's it. Reach it.
Block it in the trunk.
Couple of times I've been through the construction area, looks like the officers have everything under control as best they can under the circumstances. So.
We have a couple more dates coming up, and I'll publish them on social media, but just for your information, it'll be July 6th, 7th, and 8th. They will be doing work again where they shut down 79 and force everybody off on the 910. They're definitely moving along.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm used to seeing in a good way.
Yeah.
Well, I do have some questions for Zach that I meant, sorry. I have my notes. For the Blueberry Hill playground replacement, are we gonna will there be signs up for people to know that it's gonna be closed soon, or it's gonna be accessible?
We can, our plan right now is to come in from the non-entrance side to do the replacement and to put construction fencing on as you're looking at the playground on the left side of the sandbox. So they'll still have access to the upper portion of the sandbox area.
I think to communicate at the site what's going on.
Currently designed.
And can we push out the park survey in general, not just, I know we had at the festival. But can we put, I assume that's going out in the,
Yeah, I was waiting for our next meeting. Yeah, we can push everything out.
okay. And thank you. Oh, wrong back. That was under your set.
Okay. Public Works finished the outfall from the Bellwood Drive stormwater project. That's done. Max and I will start working on getting easement agreements together. We're on a fish round both the standstill, waiting on the DEP permit process. We had received $50,000 from Act 13 last year for some bridges at Blueberry. That grant's open through 29 due to our kind of busy schedule this year, trying to get Acorn finished and some things we didn't expect. We're going to try to push that construction for next year in 2027. The comprehensive plan team met for the first time, and then we've been looking for, but our consultant was at Festival in the Park with some survey material and trying to get feedback from the community. The HOA or the Oakleaf HOA signed the MOU. I'm in the process of getting signatures by the residents. Hartman Farms and the stormwater easement agreement reached out with a bunch of questions, so I answered them for them, waiting to hear back. They said they had more to come, so I'm waiting to see what else they need from me. Offer to meet with them. Happy to try to help in any way I can. The Public Works garage, we got quotes in for some Sean, that's for testing, right?
Right.
Oil testing. Resident concern log is up and running with promotional material for that at Festival in the Park. That is also going to be pushed out here after 4th of July. And we have handout information already in the lobbies. Multimodal grant we're going to apply for. We had an issue with our milling company. They sold their asphalt division, and so they contacted us and told us they would no longer be milling for us for this year. And so we reached out to them and threatened to surety bond.
Next name.
And then they recognized that we were still under contract all of a sudden. And so now Swank is doing that work for us. So we'll be moving on as normal. And then the next item is the first thing I have on the actual agenda, which is Embassy Lane. We had a realtor come to the last council meeting to talk to council. There was a subdivision there around Embassy Lane. I believe that I have a map for you guys as well. And so based on that subdivision, the private lane only allows for 2 houses to go off that, correct, Tim?
Yes.
And then the appropriate frontage for the other 2 lots. So it's kind of a big U. They're claiming that they're having a hard time selling the 2 front lots because it's a very steep slope, even though they have frontage, put in a driveway, and are requesting the possibility for us to allow them to put a driveway onto the private lane.
I'm glad everybody, I hate the private lanes, they've got so much trouble for us. Don't want to create another one voluntarily. That's just me.
Well, they're not asking for a separate private line, right? They're just asking for access to the existing.
So that
For another
would
house.
be 4
2 houses off the
Yeah,
back. So there's a lot inside.
So our subdivision ordinance prohibits any more than 2 houses off the private lane. They're asking for a belated
Waiver modification,
modification.
like skipping the planning commission, skipping an application.
Well, it was a minor subdivision. I don't think that one, that might have been a minor subdivision because everything was road frontage. Okay. Honestly, I don't remember, but, I mean, that's,
So.
I think you're having trouble selling the lots because they would have to make a driveway on each side of that lane, bring it down over a hill, and there's, I guess, maybe a lot of costing excavation and stuff.
No matter the length of the private lane, it's 2 homes. Can you help me understand that reasoning?
Because everybody pays the same taxes in the borough, and when you get multiple homes that want to be private lane. When we get heavy snows, the room starts filling up with a lot of people saying, we want you to maintain our roads.
Gotcha.
And that we would accept the private lane. We would allow a private lane as long as the private lane was brought up to borough specifications. But that's even though that private lane is in very good shape, it's paved, it's not up to borough specifications and we other features.
Has this been an issue in the past with people asking to add more homes to the private lane?
To me, I don't think, and
Oh, it's
now,
just stuff there.
we may have some existing private lanes that have existing lots on them that are vacant. We have to issue them, they're existing lots. We can't stop them from developing. So we would have to issue a permit for that. But we're not allowing the creation of any new lots on existing private lanes.
So these
Or
lots are not
new private
existing?
lanes with, pardon me?
These lots are not existing?
No, they were subdivided with the condition that they did not access the private.
I see, I see.
That's the,
But how long ago was that? That they were 2020 or just, oh, wow. Have they been on the market? Is it on the market? They've been on the market since 2020?
And then. But I think it was 2013, we were doing the overhaul of the Saldo and had these issues with private lanes, so put the requirements in that they can be private if they're up to standards and have the limitations. Same time we were discussions over how long a cul-de-sac can be, how many units you should get. It's just when you have the experience of Carriage Lane. Coming back a second time.
that was actually the.
I don't have any assurance with that, but I understand.
Okay. And the last one was, the, stormwater erosion agreement. We had another request, Max, myself, Gary and Tim had met, and started talking about trying to update the code so that this wouldn't need to be a process that goes in front of council every time we do one of these. Just have a procedure in place to kind of address these. However, that's gonna take a little time to get all of that drafted and prepared. So I reached out to the resident, let them know that, they want to move forward regardless, so we got it late. I sent all of your emails for you guys to review. I can answer any questions you may have.
I mean, it looks pretty straightforward and it's kind of like what we were doing with the other one right now. It's not like-
It's I mean, yeah, overall concept, the
Yeah,
encroachment agreement would be there.
Yeah.
That last one we did had existing infrastructure that was put in place, but otherwise the fence was a
Yeah.
minor component of this.
Yeah.
This is similar to other requests we've had,
yeah,
pre, not after the fact, and the fence.
Yeah, so, okay, the permanent fees, then obviously the court fee.
I think it's exactly what we talked about procedurally
Yeah.
in our, the last one. But it'd be great if we could get this off of our plate, just have it as a routine.
That's what we're hoping to do as an amendment, trying to find which ordinance to put it in, probably stormwater management, maybe property maintenance code, but it'll be like stormwater operation and maintenance agreements that Uday signs every meeting.
Yeah.
You know, then been approved and says this is when they're recorded, but not a separate vote each time. Stay tuned.
And Zach got a note about the, engineers survey.
Oh,
for us.
yes, sorry. Sean and LSC had got us, they reviewed the cell phone tower locations for both the towers and the small cell, and got us, all the locations on GIS mapping. And now we're waiting on.
Is it my backyard?
No, not yet.
No plans either.
We're
We're
waiting
just putting
review
points
of
on that.
The code to see if any of the locations presented for the large towers.
Yeah.
Functionally be there as they are, and not start working with maps to, find a way to address this, critical safety issue.
I'm just curious, like, how can we make that, with residents who don't want a cell phone or in the backyard, but yet everybody wants better service? So what is the process? How do we go about creating a solution?
So I can kind of answer because I was kind of on when I first started, we picked this project up. Eventually, we wound up with an independent consultant who had no particular connection to any cell tower company, development company, or anything, and said, we're going to do an objective review of the entire borough, figure out the weak spots, figure out what you've got, where we could fill in, do a computer analysis and figure out what plans could be made that could bring up the service from what it is now to something that would be acceptable to most of the borough. So the next step after they handed that over to us was that there were places where they said, this is where we'd fill in the blank to get the service better. When they gave us that, we still had to figure out in our zoning ordinances, what of our zoning ordinances would have to be modified if we had decided to go forward with these towers wherever they've recommended. And there's all over the place. It's not just like some favorite places, but it's where filling in the blank will get us the most services for purposes of the emergency services and cell service as well. We're not even there yet. We're still trying to figure out where can these go. And so Zach is handing that over to the engineer. The engineers then are gonna essentially put these dots in, and then from the dots, we'll figure out, are there things in our zoning ordinance that would have to be modified in order to accommodate these?
That was my next question.
That's all. Yeah,
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Do we need to modify
Yeah.
some?
we
ordinances?
may, it just depends on where these land. And so we'll have to do a survey and figure out based on where they're landing. Is there a way to do this where they're already where they need to be? We know there's places where there are conditional use applications where they come before the borough and we talk about whether or not this is something good, and there's public hearings and all that. And there's other ones that are totally shut off from that. So we're trying to figure out how to like bring the ordinance up to speed so that everybody can be informed and understand how it's gonna work.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So do we know how many cell towers they're making?
Well, I think Zach.
Three, yeah.
Yeah.
But under 300 feet, so they don't people in.
Yeah. But again, we're really in the early stages of that, because we don't even know if a developer's interested in where they could, there's a lot of stuff going on. And privately, there may be ways too, right? There may be private property depending on how the ordinance is modified. So some may want cell tower right on their property or whatever.
But
So
there's restrictions with.
Right now,
With
yeah.
acres, right?
yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that may be something that we need to deal with. We don't know until we make our map. That's what's going on. So.
I would say the anticipation should be working on concisely summarizing details, but yes, I think
Yeah.
there is going to be
Yeah.
a set of revisions to practically make this possible.
Yeah.
I think as it's written right now, very good.
Yeah. Once.
I didn't find a way to make it happen
Yeah.
based on the recommendation.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So we have to figure it out. Early stages. So.
If it's the primary use, it's a 50 acre lot, and if it's a secondary use, you have to be 110% away from the setback.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the setback.
So
So if it's 300 feet tall, 315 feet high, is your 110, so you have to be set back from all the borders at that ratio.
if you think about it in your mind's eye, this thing is this tall and has to be able to come down like this. There has to be space for it not to touch somebody else. Yeah.
Right.
though they don't fall down the way.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to educate yourself.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
understand. So,
Yeah.
Have the cityscape on the report?
Yes, they'll have it. But
Did I have that?
no, I don't know. Did all the council members see it? I don't remember.
I
when
thought it was
we
posted
We just
publicly.
re-come
I
on
made a
finish
push to
one
get it
of
posted
the-
publicly a couple
We have
times.
those-
And why do people go
Okay.
type in
Very
file report and
important.
be able to?
Right before you came on.
So I feel
So
like it was
so
discussed.
there's reports like from
Yeah,
late
that-
2025 or something?
They should be publicly posted, and if they're not, it's gonna be.
Before my.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
The work started before your time. It started on the cusp of, I had just gotten in as a council person and we were sitting up and there was a big presentation from a separate company. We asked a ton of questions. They ultimately did not give us a report that we're using now. We went to an independent
Okay.
consult. Yeah.
Well, I thank you for that
Yeah.
and appreciate
Yeah.
that. It's before my time.
Yeah.
I will catch
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, it is a complex issue for
Okay.
sure.
Thank you.
Isn't it? I thought we had it somewhere where it's not that access share. I'm about to call everybody as well. It's understood as shared. Too large thing. Oh, but that. Dropbox things.
Well, our sort
That was not our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can put it in the council folder.
So it's not publicly posted yet? I thought that should take over, like a couple months ago. In my mind.
It is in you guys' shared folder, under council attachments. Franklin Park, wireless master plan. I'm not gonna press on the one.
Does that include the survey results? Would that be useful to
Everything.
see? Yeah, I have as much.
Our folder, says 10/31/25. Pretty sure it was somebody. That's probably.
We got something in February. March, I think.
This year?
I think so.
We keep us at 1/21/26.
And then Zach, I guess, while I'm working on this, the other thing on top of my mind was after the public hearing, we heard a bunch of comments.
Yes.
Residents, I'd love to send it back to planning commission because they had some ideas, pick up the comments and come up with some revisions that everybody's happy with the data center ordinance that we just did.
Okay.
So I think the planning commission has some really good ideas.
Did planning commission meet after? Or-
No, before, yeah. They sent it up
So they
to
have
us.
not seen the comments from the public yet?
That's right, yeah,
Okay.
we want them to. However, we can get the comments.
Yeah. Do we need to guys for anything else?
Yeah.
Anybody?
The transcript.
Put it through,
Do we have a
data center to
No.
summarize all the.
Oh,
This is it.
okay.
Yeah, let one go.
My church would be cool after that.
Okay. Wait, what are we doing?
I think you're
Just this
and it's the department heads, unless you guys need that.
No, but can I at least give a shout out to the police department? For not only the festival in the park, but their dedication to what's going on at 9, 10, and 7 tonight. So I need to give them a shout out because they are working overtime, and they are doing a tremendous job to direct traffic. And I hate to do that, so.
Thank you.
Especially those
Thank you.
nights where everything's going on the on and off ramps. I've been through there a couple of.
I'm out there every night.
Absolutely. So,
You're not one of the smiling faces I've seen.
No.
Not smiling up there.
no, but, no, it's a
Yeah, joke,
mess.
sorry.
It's a total mess, but,
Good thing.
we're doing our
PennDOT
job.
Remember
Thank
PennDOT
We are
promised,
doing our job.
PennDOT promised us it wouldn't be interfering with any traffic while they were redoing this. Look.
Well, it's a silly thing to promise.
Yeah, well, it's crazy.
So we really need, I want to personally thank the police department for what they are doing for that,
Thank you.
project.
Thank you.
So can we ask the PennDOT for like some information?
I was wondering if they were gonna help us out.
Because the traffic, because they make it.
Yeah, they do pay for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
they do
Okay.
pay.
Yes,
I
yes,
figured
I'm
they
trying,
probably
yes.
did.
Yeah, they-
That's not a borough cost. Not a borough cost, but yes. But we're good.
At the risk of keeping you guys longer, can you give us a brief update on Sergeant Lethitian's time at the National Academy?
Yeah, he returned. He graduated on Thursday and he came back to work right away on Friday and worked overtime on that Saturday. Yeah, very excited to be back. He I planned on, him being present at the July council meeting, but he is on vacation, so we'll have to push it into, to
But
August.
you're gonna do the yellow brick ceremony?
Yeah,
The one that you
yeah.
had and the one that.
Yeah, yeah, we just keep
Yeah,
passing
yeah.
it down like that. Yeah, so in August, we will do, and he can give his interpretation of it and, yeah.
Yep, all right, thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Very good.
I have another question for you, but I was thinking.
Watch your turn.
Okay. Report from council, Brent.
I think I've done enough talking. I'm good.
I'm done.
Yes.
I do, I should, whole day I would keep quiet. I can't. I do though want to reiterate the police department and how they have handled the 79-910 situation. I've had a lot of conversations with Chief Leach. We meet almost every week and they're on top of things. They are in communication with PennDOT, with citizens, with it's amazing to me the professionalism that is going on with the situation, knowing that this is a PennDOT thing, this is not. But we're on top of it. And the police force chose to do overtime, not paid by the borough, sorry, don't get me wrong. They chose to do all the overnight shifts because they wanted to be in control and not Northern Regional. They wanted to be in control and the borough's being reimbursed. So again, no financial issues there. But the officers that I've met with, I mean, it's incredible to me to talk to them and like, they're like, Krista, we want to be in charge. We want to do this. And so they're doing a great job. I just want to give them more kudos. What else? I met with, what was his name with the EMS?
Oh, Christelle.
Christelle. I met with Christelle, last week for like the third time. And he is so open to meeting with council, with, members of the community to, find out how he can help, improve EMS for the residents of Franklin Park. He's a great guy, in my opinion. I've met with him several times and, I don't know how we can, better communicate with them to get, the EMS, so they know us. 'Cause I don't think they know us. And the next step is I want to get the fire department to know us. I know police very well. Aaron and I meet all the time. So my next steps are to meet with EMS and, fire to better get a concise directive of how we can help citizens. And so any input you guys have, I'm open, but that's my initiative right now is to, like I said, I already feel like I have a great relationship with Aaron and I'm developing it with, Chris and with fire. And that's my goal. any input you guys have. Believe me, I'm open to it.
Have you talked to the two appointees from Borough on,
I'm sorry,
Frank Park McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority? We have two appointees, so.
right, from the board of directors, and I'm gonna go to the next board of directors meeting in July. I did ask, why is it
Yeah.
McCandless
Yeah.
Franklin Park instead of Franklin Park McCandless? Yeah, I asked that question. Because who gets more money, you know, believe me, I'm developing the relationship and, I am welcome to input on that. And I really am, because I think that is very important to the residents of Franklin. That's what I'm.
Chris, and I would say what's missing from our work packages, and I see there was all of the different authorities that we support financially. There's a ton of reporting, financial reporting and monthly reporting. We have none of it with the fire.
And that is next steps. I've talked to some around this table about that,
Okay.
and that is definitely something we need to,
Yeah,
we need to deal with.
yeah, okay.
Everyone needs to be accountable.
Yeah, so I said, we need a lot more reporting, I think, because the amount of money that we're putting into the organization, they should be reporting to us a lot more information.
And I agree. So my first steps are establishing relationships. And then I can like, okay, now that you like me, we're gonna, you know. Now that I'm nice to you, you have to give back. So, that's my philosophy.
Got
But, I agree.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on my list here is, I'm just gonna laugh, but I had an email today. We have a deer issue.
Oh, no.
Seriously? Yes, we have a deer issue.
Everybody is.
Yeah, well, because we're constrained by state law, how it's handled, and it's
So,
mess.
all right, so if anybody has any ideas that you can give me to give back to the community about how we can like get rid of deer, let me know. And how they can quit eating their berries and tulips. Let me know.
But I can't give them.
Okay.
Fencing.
So I'm gonna tell them that, you know, I brought it to council. Council has no solution, so.
They want to get a permit from Tim for a 6-foot fence.
Yeah.
That's not a great idea.
6-foot fence is, that 6 is the number. They won't jump 6.
One guy actually asked me, this one guy actually asked me if we could help him build a fence and provide funding to build them.
And the deer pay for the vet.
That sounds familiar, doesn't
What
it?
we need to do is get the deer, sell the meat, raise money, to build a fence to keep the deer out.
Because he can't afford to build a fence. And so he wants the borough to build a fence.
Actually, on that issue, I actually spoke to Nick Giorgetti from McCandless, and they recently just got approved from the gaming commission to expand their poll, and I cannot remember all the details, to be honest, it was a long process.
Okay, that was the other thing, I'm sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting. He did say that he's an archerer, and I know that we have some sort of program, and I told him that I would find out more information, if he wanted to become involved with that, but I need to find out more
Zach
information.
Bauer runs that program for us.
Zach Brower,
He-
okay,
He's
all
the
right,
one who issues all of our permits for,
okay.
the properties they have that are big.
I knew there was something out there, but, okay.
But I'll circle back with Nick from McCandless, we talked about it a few months ago.
I have them on my radar too, so he made a call this week about reaching out to them about their program and what they're doing. To see if maybe we can work together in some capacity, but I don't know the whole details yet, so.
You should know that we had an agency before, it was called like white deer or something, white tail or something. And that was a disaster in the sense that nobody got anything, but they did give us a report that our deer have gotten really smart, so they're not any place where you can get them.
Well, that's the, like, when I leave.
They're standing in my yard for
On Wednesday nights, between here and St. John Newman, I see 20-25 deer. In an area where you can.
drive home, I thought.
Anytime of weapon.
That's right, and just, like, I just want to tell them, like, this is what we all deal with, we live here, but. Anyway, I need to get back to him about programs that we have.
We always say, if you can, fencing is obviously the best option, you know,
But we're not gonna pay for it.
deer resistant plantings, right? Obviously, you're not gonna have the tulips or the, you know.
And let us know if your neighbors
But,
are feeding the deer. 'cause
you
there's
know,
still people
native
feeding
plantings
them.
that are deer resistant in some capacity. And obviously, we have programs.
Oh, it is, it's absolutely, that doesn't mean they don't, they do it all over the.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, we look into trapping and different things, but it's just so expensive, it's cost sensitive. And it doesn't fix the underlying.
Like visiting with the. farm.
Yeah, and that, I can't remember, I talked to you about this, about, different ways to, instead of just killing.
Yeah, I looked into it, about 6 months ago, mainly during hunting season, never realized complaints.
Are there ways, or is it just a fact of life?
There's a couple, right? So there's trapping, which is very expensive. You take them and you move them, pay per deer, and then there is like sterilization, which is a type of
Sterilization,
shot
yeah.
you shoot. And it lasts for, I think, 2 to 5 years, depending. And then you gotta reshoot them again, but you're sending somebody out to physically hit them with strength flash darts. It has to keep repeating it over and over again.
We had the game commission come years ago and they didn't recommend it.
Yeah,
They thought it wasn't.
and again, cost prohibitive. And so based on
Bringing it up
Allegheny
because
County
it's
hunting
right.
regulations, rifle regulations, what the state, has or has not done to help with these problems. We're
And is it my understanding also that, we would have to work in conjunction with neighboring communities in order to make this happen?
That's probably a better idea.
But you could have,
So we don't
not
have to,
just
but-
Franklin Park, because the deer move,
Right.
so.
our main issues are in our residential area. Yeah, and we don't have any big lots in which we can run our program.
Yeah, Zach Brower administers that.
Yeah.
You'll have all the details. All right.
I guess we brought in coyotes, that caused them a problem. They would be ready.
I can be done. Okay.
Yeah, we have discussed this one actually, the deer problem and for a few years. Even since I joined the council and we couldn't find any good way to deal with this.
And I don't think there is a good way, and that's why when I got this email today, I'm like, okay, I'll bring it up, whatever, but I don't think there is a good solution.
Usually when there's a problem that has like functional solution, it gets solved real quick and never. There's a lot of gray area like this.
Drags on.
Yeah. We all deal with it.
Any other question?
I actually do have one more question, I'm sorry. Did we decide not to have a stormwater engineer come because of, we don't need them, or we're not, that we don't have to pay them?
You talked about the twice.
Yeah, we talked about it, I
Was-
can't remember.
I didn't have the combination. works.
No, I think that's fine, yeah,
Number one, we didn't get a whole lot out of them when they're here.
right.
We paid for them to come here as well, and so I meet with them monthly in a Zoom meeting. I get everything I need.
I think that's the right move.
And so unless we have like major issue or major situation, I don't really bring them in.
Okay, thank you. I meant to ask
I'm
that.
trying.
So we still need to keep that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we still-
That's not very good. That's for a while. I do that.
Okay, I have 3 things. So first, in last month's packet, I saw that for the youth committee, that we were gonna reach out to someone named Miss Hozak to see if it was possible. Do we have an update on whether it's allowed or not?
She and I spoke, she's my colleague, as well. We just started talking, but thought there's, we already have the junior council person role. And that's something that we want to expand or otherwise, and we're give you more to do, you know, because right now it's sort of, come to meetings and observe and give the take, but, you know, rather than set up a focus group or another committee or another group to get the insight from the youth, what they want to see in terms of babies on the golf course or other activities. That's why we got junior council person as the liaison, and it's whatever you want the role to be, and if that's desire, because I know you had a lot of applicants that are interested in the position, and that could be a task for them rather than setting in something formal. You need to have a resolution passed or advertise meetings.
Is it sounding like it doesn't have to be anything formal, but everybody is interested and get together, feel like a brain's trust. Yeah,
The second thing is about the Facebook and the Instagram.
I'm sorry, I can't,
Oh, yeah,
with that, I'm having trouble hearing you.
okay, no problem. With the syncing of the Facebook and Instagram, I hopped on our Instagram, just a little bit before the festival in the park, and I saw that we didn't post until, or since December actually, so, but I do know that we post on Facebook, so I made a little doc. Just, it's like just literally a page and a half on how to sync both of our accounts, if anyone wanted to look at that. That way we could get, more people that look at the Instagram too, since I know that, a lot of people my age don't really have Facebook, so that way we can expand to looking into the Instagram as well.
And if I could tag on to that for just a moment, I also think I spoke with, Chief, Aaron, and I can't remember who else I talked to this week, whoever. But my thinking, was we have this heat wave going on. We've got a heat wave going on. So how can we get it out to the community? Zach, I might have talked to you, I can't remember. Just information about checking on your neighbors, your pets. How can the community get on social media to provide information about the heat wave that's happening this week? So I talked to a couple of people about that, but believe me, I'm not tech savvy, so.
I think just getting at, you can synchronize whatever you post on Facebook, we'll post.
Or share it.
Yeah.
Because I know, I mean, I know the borough has, social media, but then I know the police department has social
Yeah.
media, and fire has social, Allegheny County, so how can we like share that?
Well, I think that, so maybe we have to do a better job as Franklin Park and Borough of sharing out the stuff from these other,
I
associated.
have a loose plan in place.
Okay.
We can talk about an executive session,
Yeah.
but stick around. There's a personnel issue. Personnel discussion.
Okay, but I think that's really important because I will repeat myself that I follow Shaler, and I've talked to you about this, Max. I think Shaler does a great job. And I think Franklin Park could do a better job. With the social media presence of informing their residents of what's going on with traffic, with police, with, you know, closures of streets, with weather, whatever it is. I think we could learn from some other communities and, do a better job.
So who's the administrator? Who's the admin account for that social media?
Who's the admin account for Borough Franklin Park?
I would like to, it's not me.
We'll discuss.
Okay, we'll get there. Yeah, that's good.
First thing they can post it.
Right, I mean. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
I've got a lot of ideas, even though I can't control it because I'm not tech savvy.
Since we talked about this, the heat wave, and so Does Borough have like some place that, just in case like our residents and the.
Polling station?
Yeah.
Library does that.
I actually talked to Chief about that this week.
Yeah.
And, I did talk to him this week about that.
I think he posted a bunch of places.
And,
didn't he?
and they are mainly in the city of Pittsburgh. Franklin Park is, not really a location where people don't have air conditioning. It's more in the city. So Franklin Park does not have a need, for cooling stations, is what I'm told. However, they are available if somebody is in need and we need to help somebody, the police would obviously help them. But we don't have to have a formal cooling station.
They can go to public library.
Yeah, the library.
Yeah, the library.
The library, yes, yes.
building.
The library. I'm
Here
told.
during the day,
Yeah,
we filled something out with the county that said.
Yeah, just in case, because we
Yeah.
don't have like something like there and
Because
we
if
may
you-
not need to use them.
Who was I talking to? Was I talking to you?
Yeah, me and Aaron discussed it
Because you have
4
to
months
have
ago. Yeah.
specific regulations if you have a cooling station. And you have to have regulations that comply to be an official cooling station.
We have something like not that, almost just in case and.
Yeah, yeah.
People call,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
offer they can come here.
Absolutely.
It's on a case by case basis instead of.
It's,
We
it's
can-
not like an official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we can
Set by
offer
officer.
them those,
Yeah.
put some information.
Correct.
When people
On what.
call us, contact us, we always
I-
get them what they need, the information that they. need.
Right.
The chief, somebody had contacted him when they didn't have water, he took them a case of water.
Yes.
So we always make sure people get them.
Absolutely. But it's different from the city of Pittsburgh. Where they don't have air conditioning and, yeah, it's more widespread.
But here, sometimes you will lose power or like electricity,
Right.
That's especially, and this kind of like the weather, just. So I.
Exactly.
and If we have something.
We've
yeah,
had people come in and charge their cell phones.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
that's-
absolutely.
Just walk into the office and tell us.
Just walk in and I haven't had power, is it okay if I plug in my cell phone to charge?
You know what? That's good to know. And I will, thank you.
We won't. Thank you.
Continue.
Yeah, just to add on to that.
Sorry. It's
That's
good over.
I actually thought of a bunch of things as everyone was talking. So, maybe along with Taylor, I haven't looked at that actually, but I know McCandless does, actually I've been getting another idea, which I've already talked about, but, they do have very frequent Instagram posts. They posted yesterday actually about, how waste management is gonna change because of the heat wave. So I do think, that we can post a little bit more. Like- Yeah. So, I think if we sync that, then the Instagram would also be able to see it.
Yeah, it'll be addressed before we meet again. It will be addressed before we meet.
She's gonna synchronize Instagram to Facebook finally, even though you brought it up 2 months ago, it's finally gonna happen.
Really think of.
It takes the goalpost a while.
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought it would be helpful for a bunch more people to see it.
If there's an age group that's missing all the information, is what you've said very subtly, nobody wants to listen.
That's old people.
Well, I think along with that, I know that, just looking at our posts too, from what we've done, I do think we posted a lot in December on Instagram. I think we can utilize Canva also, because that's a free platform, so if you use that, okay. Well, I probably would know that if I made a Facebook account, so I do want to, like, continue looking at these things, so I will make a Facebook account today, but, along with that, yeah, I guess we could put solutions to the deer problem on there if that's something that actually becomes like a real situation.
And perhaps, I mean, just like you have to have this many acres in order to be an archer to kill the deer.
You gotta put together this much acres, because if you shoot the deer with the arrow, then he runs off to like 3 other people's properties that didn't expect to have a deer on their property. It's a whole big thing. Yeah, it's not easy.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to tell people to deal with it.
This is what we have been doing.
Yes,
I'm thinking it would,
we tell them we are working on this.
We're working on it.
Never,
the deer working faster
never
and
can
better.
avoid the solution,
The last thing was just for the school visit, if Borough did actually want to come visit, the senior high school, then, I have an email drafted, and then whatever days that any members of the borough are available for, obviously, the 26, 27 school year, I'm sure we could arrange like a day that, you guys could come, or anyone, obviously, because I highly doubt we'd be able to get everybody on one day, because it is during work day. So, our lunches are from 10:30 to around 12. So we have 3 lunch periods. During any of those periods, we could come and then just talk about, you guys could come and then talk about a lot of hot topics. Like I know that data centers are a huge thing for us. And just kind of about like what Borough does and a lot of like advisory things, because I think a huge thing about why so many people are always having like, misconceptions, I think, is because they don't understand that Borough doesn't do half of the things that people think they do. So I think that could be a good idea. So I do have a email drafted if anyone wanted to see it, or if we could also pick out some days that, if you guys are interested, and this is the first thing.
Do we have to avoid having a bunch of council people take you up on the offer at the same time? Because we want to have quorum where we have a sunshine law thing goes on.
Yes, that would.
Yeah. So we have to, people have to pinpoint who's going and.
Can you put together a list of like hot button topics that the youth care about? Because in my opinion on what I care about is very different than what you guys might. So I think if you could put together like 3 or 4 button items, that'd be really good for us to, you know.
Then you can hear from your favorite council person on one of those items.
Yeah.
That's a great.
Prime address land use.
Oh,
I need to double.
You can send email to.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it.
Okay, I think that's a great idea, though. I love that.
Yeah, it's really
Love
good.
it.
Do they, and I don't even know if you can answer this question. Do they know that there's stuff sitting on the YouTube channel, all of the different meetings that have been like recorded and.
So we don't look at YouTube anymore. It's like everything's on Instagram or
Right there.
TikTok.
I have 4 YouTube tabs right now, just so I can look on the CU stuff.
I don't post to TikTok, but I know Instagram is.
My kids are all Snapchat.
Yeah, yeah, but everything in partner for Borough to post on
Yeah.
top.
So could we move or can we create an archive of the council meeting recordings?
Sure.
That could be retrievable on Instagram. I'm just looking. I'm not saying- I mean,
You can have
I can't see it,
detention or you
but I'm
can
saying-
Don't
Hyperlink
waste the
them,
effort on that.
Yeah, I could hyperlink, yeah.
Captions so people could go back and watch
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
There's a project.
Yeah.
Good hyperlink.
Greatest hits. Yeah, all
Spend time on that.
Yeah. Somebody needs to work on that.
Go ahead, what was the last one?
That was really it. I guess I do agree that a youth committee wouldn't actually be quite necessary, but I do think we'd have more interest once, we visited the school and people wanting to somehow be able to contribute or probably attend more meetings. That way we have a lot more people coming to our meetings. I know after McKinley did it, they went from like 30 people to a meeting to 400 in their next meeting, which was a huge skyrocket.
Oh, that was.
Well, yeah, it was a very hot topic.
I caught like a solicitor there and he would,
Yeah,
You
so
picked a
if
different
we had hot topic, meetings, then we would also make it like this.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I think that's all I have.
Okay.
This is just like you guys do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think I have anything that hasn't already been said, so, yes, thank you.
Nothing you under the sun.
Another thing, Ishan, you said the visiting the school one time, what school you talking about? This is senior school or?
Probably the senior high school. Only because I don't think any of the middle schools would be too enticed by it. And then I think also, yeah, I think the 16 to 18-year-old is like the best demographic because they're able to like actually do
Sort of
something.
vote.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, signing up.
Closer to that.
You guys have this registration at the high school for registering to vote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So general thing about, we know the Rochester Road, the concession and that, the thing.
For which road?
And the Rochester Road, sorry, McAllen.
No, not yet. The last time we talked to them, so they were trying to find contractors and bidding, to repair where the creek kind of washed off the roadway. It still has all the stop signs up. They said within a month to 2 months is our last update we received. And we're still in that window, so.
See the plan being fixed on the road.
Yeah, everything going around, the shifting,
I mean, I've talked to our state reps, like,
Well, that's step one, right? So we're moving in the right direction.
So just about last, we talking about the open areas, the planting park. Speaking with some of the Rachel Clausen post last week ago, part of the challenge. They're asking if the planting park does have any provision to do any trade for the planting park area, because there is some in the mechanism, even though High Township, too, they have some local trade in the community parks.
yeah, so we have trails. in all
There's a
our
lot.
parks. Yeah, they already exist. What we're looking to now is to connect our parks and our residential areas to each other and to resources, right? Because most of the areas in which we need to do that, there aren't available land for a traditional trail. It's not like we have like an abandoned railroad track that runs through town where we can, seize, or not seize, but, get access to. Yeah, and so if we tried to put like a straight line trail for the community, we have to put hundreds of easement agreements that I'll never get.
Nobody's gonna sign.
Yeah, and $500,000 plus on a property, we don't want to give up your privacy.
Right. You don't want somebody walking through a
And
trail
so
behind your.
the way that we're gonna have to do connectivity is gonna have to be creative. By kind of branching one community to the next, and kind of weave through instead of, a little bit more established with, past infrastructure, right? I met with the Race Party group as well. I'm kind of aware of what is going on around us. I'm hoping that our Parks Green Space comp plan will help as well, because, our not contractor, consultant, there it is. They worked with the cameras just, what, or 2 months ago, 1 time ago, and Marshall before that. So, they're gonna kind of bring what they did for them to us as well, see if there's any, room for, the region to benefit instead of just one community.
So do we have the small any trails in many parks, like Blueberry or something?
Yep, River has multiple trails, Lynbrook has. Acorn has a lot of great trails, which connects over to Allegheny Lake. Land Trust.
So.
How far are they, like, market promotion, housing?
Borough Parks.
How long are they?
The one in Blueberry, is a little more than a mile. If you do the whole thing.
Yeah, you offer them.
Acorn, you can go
That's not that.
a long way.
That's really helpful, you know,
And
and
Lynbrook,
you can go online to check that.
you could.
Yeah,
you
they
can
do
go
have
to
something.
Allegheny.
Yeah.
You could like really good like out of that.
Your discipline, very good.
I have one last question. No,
No,
this is nothing.
And you can see.
So the communities connected to the walkways.
Just look at it freeway.
Just looking at the map, that's all. You may own a map, yeah.
Get funding to do that.
It's a beautiful map.
That's where we're at.
It's the only one
Yes,
we
yeah,
have.
multimodal. That's the grant that we're applying for. And then I'm also applying for.
I think that's an appropriate name for
For a
it.
crosswalk, which is part of that other time.
There are many like her. This one is mine. Big in the full road jacket reference.
Yeah, this is.
I-
overnight.
My brother got
have
me, I
it,
never.
I have it like say,
So I don't get the reference, yeah.
unless I have a.
There's lots of movies like missed one way or another.
Sidewalks.
I think my nerdiness is preventing me from seeing something.
That's all I have.
Okay, great.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I can give my answers. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and first I agree with the mayor and on the police department and the housing and the police office and quite often, on the road and then they drive around and a lot of people and quite happy with this, they feel safe and feel like, and secure and I would say like.
Yeah, thank you, and,
It's, we really appreciate it.
because I see that as well.
Mm.
But then I have residents that like call me and say, police aren't anywhere. It's like, oh. Stop making me.
I think
But-
50 feet without seeing them.
And
Like,
so
Uh-huh.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
because they are out there, they are doing their job.
I haven't heard any complaint about this one because I'm all of my friends that feel good, to have like,
Yeah,
to have the office, and driving around and then, and so we know that if we call them, they can be, they are like in a couple of minutes. So that's really the best thing.
And-
I think for this.
and yeah, they're doing their job and I'm very pleased that we'll be able to acknowledge the officer who just went through the academy next month. And that is a huge accomplishment that Franklin Park should be very proud of, that we have a police department that has now, I want to say maybe 4 who have gone through this academy, at least 4. So it's a huge accomplishment and we should be proud. And again, put it out there on social media. But yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's all I want to discuss and stay cool and stay safe. And especially, under this kind of weather, okay? That's it, right? Do we have like?
We had a